Hello, I am Dr. Gloria Walker, and I am here to share my sexual abuse stories. I decided to share my stories in hope that other people will come forward and they will want to get help. And what I mean by that is maybe, if they had some type of childhood sexual abuse, they will go and seek a therapist or just talk about it. Because a lot of times we as African American people, we tend to hold a lot of things in, and we never go to see a therapist, and some of us believe all we got to do is go to church. Some believe all we got to do is pray. But let me share my stories with you, and you'll understand why I needed to go to therapy. Okay? And I have my pillow here because I tend to talk with my hands. So this is going to help me keep my hands like this. Okay? Okay. So let's get right into it. I was sexually abused by an uncle in Louisiana from age 5 to 12. Okay? This particular uncle would always give me money. He would say, when I go like this, come to me. I remember it just like it was yesterday. And so he would give me, I don't really remember, how much it was, but he would just give me some, money. And what kid would not want money? So I took it. I went. And it went on without my mother even knowing that this uncle was sexually abusing me, molesting me. And yeah, he would come over to our home, ask my mother if he could take me to his job, which was the zoo. Okay. He was my mother's sister's husband. Okay. And so my mother, she didn't have no clue as to what was going on. And it went on for years and years and years. And the reason why it stopped at the age of 12 was because my mother passed away. Okay? I was 12 years old and I saw my mother take her last breath in front of me. Okay? Not only was I getting sexually abused, but now I have additional trauma that I had to deal with. And I wasn't dealing with it, as a child. You don't know that you need therapy, So I held that in. I held that in. And so, let me see. That went on, like I said, from age 5 to about age 12. Yeah, the passing of my mother. And so, my mother, God rest her soul, she passed away not even knowing what was going on. Um, his wife did not have a clue. And if she did, she acted like she didn't. And I even would go over their house. My mother would let me spend a night over their house. They didn't have any kids at that time. And she would let me go over to their house and spend the night. And yes, he would sexually abuse me, molest me over there. Okay. And so I end up having to come to San Francisco after the passing of my mom. I had to live with my maternal family. And so I want to bring up this. We, as African American people, are not taught that it's okay to talk about sexual abuse. It's okay to tell your children, you know, let me know if somebody is touching you in this way. At that time, I don't know, I can't really speak for right now, but I know, I was born in 1970, and so back then, no, it wasn't no talk about it at all. you know um And so I wish that everybody would reach out to their kids, talk to them about it, let them know how important it is, because I don't care who it is. They need to be aware that touching is not okay. They need to know the difference between good touching and bad touching. And we need to start talking about sexual abuse. Okay? Let me go on with my story. Okay, the next point I want to make. The signs were there. Okay? For me, I became angry. I mean, once I was in, San Francisco, I was angry. I had a smart mouth. Somebody would say something to me, I would just flip off at the mouth. But I had been sexually abused. And also, I saw my mom take her last breath in front of me. So, as a child, a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old, holding all that in, that wasn't good. It wasn't good. But I didn't know that I should have been talking about it to someone. I'm a child. I had no idea. Okay. Let me share my other sexual abuse encounter. It was a deacon at a church, okay, where we attended. We ended up going over there, me and some family members went over to his house. And so he was old, he was in a wheelchair. So, being, from Louisiana, you're supposed to speak to your elders. That's how we're raised. So I went over there and I spoke to him. And so I stood right there next, to where he was sitting. And so he just started touching all over me. He just started touching my body. I mean, I was just probably 98 pounds, but here I am about, I want to say 14, 15 years old. And this man was just touching my body. I had been sexually abused by an uncle. I saw the trauma, the traumatic event of my mom taking her last breath. And here I go have a old man fondling me, touching me. And no, my family member didn't say anything. Stood there like it was okay. The next sexual abuse took place when I was staying with family members. It was a cousin. I was asleep in the room, and he took it upon himself to come in the room, touch me. He woke me up. He was touching on me. This had just seem like the norm. Why do everybody wanna touch me? I'm a child, a kid. And so that's what I was thinking. But I was angry. No one knew why I was angry. Didn't get any help for what had happened because no one knew what had happened, okay? But they knew I saw my mom take her last breath. So that was enough, you know, to where somebody should have gotten me help. But in the African American community at that time, we didn't think about going to see no therapist. All we knew was go to church, go pray about it, talk to the Lord about it. But as a child, I did not understand, that I needed therapy. So I'm angry, still angry. As I'm going along, I'm angry. This cousin, let me get back to the story. Sorry about that. This cousin was just fondling me, touching on me. I jumped up and I'm like, what? Like, what are you doing? This cousin ran out of the room. I went. I told an adult the next day. Okay, as a child, I told an adult. I felt like that's what I should have did. This adult told me he he feels bad. He didn't come home. So, as a child, how am I supposed to take that? He feels bad about what he did. Well, is he gonna get any consequences for his behavior? I mean, what's gonna happen? Is he gonna get help or what? Here I am, a teenager, sexually abused by an uncle from 5 to 12, seeing my mother take her last breath. Then you have this old man fondling me, touching on me, and then now I have a cousin touching on me. We supposed to be family. Family don't do that. They don't do that. Anger all up and through me. I was angry. I was angry. And let me share this. We need to stop telling our children what happens in this house stays in this house. Got to let that mentality go. Because if it's something that's bothering that child, and that child needs to go to an adult, and that child needs to share what happened to him or her. Okay? We need to get away from that. Got to get away from it. And so I'm sitting here, don't know what to do, don't know where to go. I'm hurt, I'm angry. So I decide that I want to go live with another auntie. I want to go live. I don't want to stay, there anymore. I couldn't take it. Couldn't take it. So I goes, this particular cousin, I ended up going, I just left. Didn't take my things with me. I just left. But I had to come back to the house and get some things. So this cousin had a car, and this cousin ended up taking me back over to where I was staying. This cousin told me, is it anything wrong with me liking you? Here I am. At that time, I think I was around, I think I left at 17 years old. I was in high school, and it was my last year of high school. I only had one more semester to go of school. But through all the stuff I was going through, I never stopped going to school. I did not cut my classes. I was passing it was something in me that had me like, I gotta finish school. I gotta finish school. And so I thank God that I was able to finish school. But yeah, he asked me, he said, is it anything wrong with me liking you? I said, what do you mean? Is it anything wrong with you liking? You are my cousin. We are family. Family don't do that. It's just things family don't do. So from that moment on, I just did not know how to process all that stuff I had went through. Didn't get no help. Angry. And so now I'm living on another side of town where I ended up getting together with someone. Okay, he was my boyfriend. Okay, call him my boyfriend. I was in 12th grade. 12th grade, we call ourselves, dating or whatever. And so I wouldn't say that it was serious, but guess what? I got pregnant. I got pregnant. When I moved from the other place I was living to the new place, um, I finished school. I finished school. I got pregnant that same year that I finished school. And it was in December. I finished school in June. Didn't have no sense of direction, did not have any goals, did not have any desire to go to college. Because I didn't see that around me. I didn't have nobody, telling me you're smart, you can do it. So I didn't really believe in myself that I could, go to college. Got pregnant. And I was in a relationship that I really wasn't seeing it going anywhere. I'm young. I'm young. And so We broke up, but we broke up before I found out I was pregnant. We did break up. And so I ended up talking to a guy who I had been talking to since I was in the ninth grade. Okay, the ninth grade. So we started talking. And even though I was pregnant with someone else's child, he was taking care of, I would say, my baby, my unborn baby, like it was his. He was, but he was a dog. He was a cheating dog, okay? He was a cheating dog, but we was friends. So that's why I guess I stayed there because he told me he loved me. See, I was looking for love in all the wrong places. All the wrong places. But I stayed because I didn't have my mother to tell me she loved me. I didn't have my father. He was still alive, but he was in Louisiana and I was now, in California. So I'm carrying on. I'm going on, with my life. End up having my child. Okay. Whew, after I had my baby, a few months later, I got pregnant again. But this time it was with my friend. Okay, the guy I told you that was helping me take care of my daughter when I was pregnant with her. Okay, got pregnant, had a son. Here I am, single mom at the age of what, 19. I was pregnant at 18, had my daughter at 19. Here I go having another child at the age of 20. Had no sense of direction. Didn't have no one to talk to me, to guide me. Okay, but through it all, God kept me. He kept me. And I say that because I did not end up on drugs. I did not end up drinking alcohol. None of that. But guess what? I became promiscuous. Oh, yes, I did. And because of the sexual abuse, it made me go out there and seek guys that didn't mean me no good. I stayed with the one that was cheating on me over and over and over again because he told me he loved me. But see, if somebody loves you, they're not going to cheat on you. Okay? They won't cheat on you. At that time, I accepted it because looking for love in all the wrong places. And so I just kept going on with my life. Didn't have no sense of direction. But guess what? I put myself into school. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no idea. I went to junior college. First I went to the neighborhood. I'm trying to think what the name of it is. It was in the community. Okay, I went to that school. Didn't know what I wanted. I was taking medical assisting. Okay, finished it. I got my medical terminology 1 and 2, but I did not get my medical assisting certificate because I didn't want to go and volunteer nowhere. I want to get paid if I was going to work. That was my thought, at that time. And so I decided to look for a job, go back to school. So something happened to where the individual that was no good, okay, the cheater, he ended up, just say, going on vacation. Okay, we're going to say he went on vacation. So that's what I needed in my life because that's when I put myself into City College, okay, of San Francisco Community College. And that was the best thing I could have ever done. Didn't get any help yet. Still walking around angry, making the wrong decisions when it comes to men. Wrong decisions. I mean, I'm up here, pastors, trying to sleep with me. Okay? Talking about, I'm going to be at this motel, meet me there. No. Oh, but it was one pastor that I did. I'm gonna be honest. I did. I went there. Okay, but I sure regret it. Regret it. But oh, that's a whole nother different story right there. Talking about pastors. Okay. But anyway, let me move on. Went to City College, just taking classes just to take classes. Didn't have no sense of direction. Taking classes just to take them, but I'm glad I was there because God placed somebody in my life at City College. It was a counselor that believed in me. He believed in me, and that's all I needed was somebody to believe in me. And if he believed that I could do it and I was smart enough, well, heck, it was time that I started believing in myself because nobody in my family had ever went to college. My mom only had an elementary school education and my father did too. But I don't hold anything against them because they took me to school. They made sure I got an education. My mother did the best she could and my father did too. So anyway, I'm going to City College. It was time for me to check out of there. It's like, okay, you can't stay here. You got to go. You know, 2 years is up. I enrolled in another school. I was scared. I was scared. I was like, man, it's like the unknown. How I'm gonna do this? And by that time, let me go back a little bit. I had 2 children, but when I enrolled in the school, the undergraduate school for my BA degree, I had 4 children. 4. Cause that no good dog that went on vacation, got out. He came home, let me say that, from vacation. And I ended up having twins. Two, two daughters. But here I am, I'm working. I'm going to school as a single mom. I'm doing it for my children. That's one thing I did not, hold back on. I tried to do the best that I knew how for my children. Okay, paying bills, going to school, getting that financial aid. Oh yeah, I was getting welfare, getting food stamps, getting all that. Okay, and so I ended up my working at the school, and I ended up applying for the my undergraduate degree program. And so my daughters, they were, I want to say 5 years old or 6 years old. And so while I'm up here going to church, I'm going to school after church. I remember it. I'm up here going to school. But let me tell you something. I'm single. Still didn't get help making poor choices when it came to men. Poor choices, okay? Poor. But it came a time that I had to put myself in therapy because I was in class this particular time and I ended up having a panic attack. I had a panic attack. And I said, you know what? Enough is enough. I've been holding all this stuff in for years and I can't seem to get ahead in my life. I'm making poor decisions when it comes to men. So, I took myself and put myself in therapy because I needed it. I needed it. And that was the best thing I could have ever done. The best thing. I asked for an African American female therapist, and that's what I got. And she said, so will you be going back to school? What's going on with your school? Because I got out of school. I couldn't do it no more. I couldn't go. I said, no, I'm not going back to school. I can't do it. She said, yes, you will. You will go back and you will finish. Now, why is all these people believing in me though? I don't know these people, but they're believing in me. So if they believe in me, it's time that I believe in me too. She was right. I went back to school. I applied for another program, okay? And I ended up getting my master's degree. And by this time, I was married. I was married. Okay, and that's a whole nother story also. Because when God sends you someone, when He sends you your helpmate, it's not gonna be no problems. You're not gonna struggle more with your helpmate than you was when you was by yourself. Okay, it's a whole different story. But anywho, get back. So I went through all of this. I went to therapy because I needed to get it out. She told me, I want you to write how you feel to those people that did what they did to you. Oh my God, that was the best thing I could have ever done, to write how I felt. I got it all out. I kept seeing her. And it's like, she was like, our sessions are done. We're done. We're done. But she had to tell me we was done. Oops, sorry about that. I done kicked the tripod. But anywho, let me go on. So I'm saying all of that to say there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You got to keep praying, steadfast, and believing that God is going to bring you through, because He brought me through. I've been through it. I was a single mom. I was looking for love in all the wrong places and the wrong men faces. Okay, I've been there. I understand what it's like to have children out of wedlock. I understand what it's like, sis. I get it. But let me tell you now, I walked across that stage in September of this year and got my doctorate degree. I am a doctor in education and organizational leadership. Don't ever let nobody tell you what you can't do because of your past. But you gotta seek help. You have to seek help. And seeking your help, make sure you praying. Because I'm telling you, you will overcome it. I did. That's why I can easily sit here and talk about it. I wrote a book about it, and the truth have set me free. That's the name of my book. I don't have a copy of it. I'm sorry about it, but I'm going to insert a picture after this video of my book. Okay? My sexual abuse story. I got to. So I'm just sharing my story with you. I hope someone be blessed through my testimony. And if it's anything that I can do to encourage you, please leave a comment, because I am transparent. When I sit up here and I tell you, I was angry. I was hurt. And that anger transferred over to my first child. It did. It transferred over to my first child because I didn't seek help at a young age. I was angry. But I thank God today that I am no longer angry. I hold no animosity. I'm not about to sit at no table and eat with nobody that sexually, abused me. No. But guess what? I can walk past them and not be angry. But I don't want it to happen to nobody else's children. Protect your children. Talk to them. Let them know how important it is. Because all those years that went by, that I sat here in anger, making the wrong choices, and just being places I had no business being, because I was sexually abused. I wanted somebody to love me. I didn't have that from my mom because she was gone. Oh, I love me today. I can tell you that I truly love me today. And had it not been for the grace of God, I would not be who I am, and I would not be where I am today. So I pray that each and every one of you be blessed through this story time. And if it's anything that I can do, any direction that I can, give or help you, please leave it in the comments and I will pray with you, pray for you, or just whatever. Just reach out to me. It's been nice. Be blessed. And I'm going to have another story time because I got some stories for you. Take care.